Okay, for example 7, we're going to rotate the axis for a hyperbola, and then we're going to graph the hyperbola. Alright, we're in the form xy minus 1 equals 0 is our equation to start out with. And we have to follow this formula. Start with cotangent of 2 theta equals a minus c over b. We know that a is the term in front of x squared, so a is 0. B is the term in front of xy, so b is going to be 1. And then c is the term here in front of y squared, so c is also going to be 0 because there is no y squared, so we get 0. So we have the cotangent of 2 theta equals 0. Well, I know the cotangent from earlier in trig is x over y, which means that x has to be 0 and the y is probably going to have to be 1. So where's the ordered pair 0, 1 at? Well, it's at pi over 2. So the cotangent of 2 theta, so 2 theta equals pi over 2. Divide both sides by 2, and you get theta equals pi over 4. That means we're going to rotate the axis pi over 4 units, or 45 degrees. Alright, the next thing I have to do is, now I've got to come over to here and solve for x and for y. So x is going to be the x prime times the cosine pi over 4 minus y prime sine of pi over 4. We'll go ahead and simplify. Cosine of pi over 4 square root 2 over 2. So or we'll just go 1 over square root 2 to make it simpler. So x times 1 over square root 2 minus y times 1 over square root 2. And then for y is going to be x prime sine theta, so x prime times 1 over square root 2 plus y prime cosine theta, so times 1 over square root 2. And now I'm going to take these and I'm going to substitute into this equation right here. So I'd have x, which is x over square root 2 prime minus y prime over square root 2 times y. Y is x prime square root 2 plus y prime square root 2, and then minus 1 equals 0. I'm going to simplify this equation, and so if I do FOIL here, this gives me x prime times x prime, which is x prime squared over square root 2 times square root 2 is 2. The middle term is going to drop out, and minus y prime quantity squared over 2 minus 1 equals 0. Simplify it a little bit more, and I'm going to come up with, well, essentially I'm just going to add the 1 to both sides, and it's going to equal 1. So this is my new form of the parabola. X prime, y prime just means the new x and y for the new coordinate plane. So if my original coordinate plane, when I go to graph it, is here, and this says to rotate the axis pi over 4, which is 45 degrees, that means I'm going to rotate this thing 45 degrees, and now my new axis is in the blue. And I just draw my parabola off that blue, this angle right here being pi over 4. Alright, well in the x direction, I go square root of 2. Center's at 0, 0. So I go square root of 2 between 1 and 2. Square root of 2 this direction. Square root of 2 that direction. Square root of 2 that direction. Draw my box. Then draw the asymptotes. And I can draw the hyperbola like this. And if I rotate it back to the black being level, there's the approximate sketch. Oh, I messed that up, didn't I? Let's go back and check what is wrong here. Notice that it's incorrect because the x was first. Since the x was first, the graph should come in the x direction this way. And there, once I rotate it back, the black facing down, is what the graph looks like. Alright? See if you can figure out number 73, which is going to be on a separate video.